This is Julie Hamilton with Life Builders, bringing you simple tips to build a strong and healthy life on. And you know how we love to interview people who are making a positive impact on this world, and I'm so excited for today's interviewee, Hannah Benjamin-Escher. If you haven't seen her, you should follow her, Hannah Benjamin-Escher.
Hello, Hannah. Hi, Julie. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited.
I really appreciate it. I'm really excited too.
Yeah. I'm telling you guys, every time I talk to her, I learn something that sticks with me for like months. Like, seriously, it just sticks in my head and gives me stuff to talk to my kids about. So I think you're really gonna love today, and it's gonna be awesome. So if you're on, say hi to me so we can see who's on here. Okay, there's Sarah. Hey, Sarah. She was one of our clients. We shot her wedding.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's so fun.
That's cool. So as you come on, say hi. We can see you, so we can see who's there. So did you want to share?
Yeah, I'm going to share on my Facebook
She's going to share it
page.
so her friends can see her too. Your family's so sweet. Oh my gosh.
I know, my sisters. Oh my gosh.
How many sisters do you have?
Well, I have 4 sisters and 3 brothers.
Oh my goodness. And they were so sweet. When your sister is saying nice things about you, I'm like, that's like really nice, because
So
sisters
sweet.
know you more than anybody, right?
So sweet. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Okay.
Yep.
It's
So
shared.
just share. Okay, perfect. All right, well, let's get going. If you're on, say hi to us. I see more people are coming on. We're just waiting a minute here. So it's going to be really good. Okay, should I tell them how we met?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. We met randomly we were both working, and then we met, and I don't know, when I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to know this person. Like, I felt that connection. I was like,
really?
You're gonna be my friend.
Oh, you're so sweet.
So
I remember when I first met you and Damien, Julie's husband, that they were just so sweet and so fun.
Aww.
And you just had such a joy about you guys. And it was so fun, like later finding out that we knew some mutual people.
Isn't that great? If you guys know the Weisses, she knows the Weisses and the Powells and a lot of different people we know. So it was super fun.
It is.
Well, let's get started, because I'm actually trying to be really good today, you guys, and stay on a time frame. So we can talk forever, trust me, but we're going to try to be really good. So let's just meet you first. Could you take a couple minutes and just tell our viewers a little bit about what you do and what your life is like now, or maybe growing up, and all that kind of stuff in just like 2 minutes?
Absolutely. So I'm the founder of Trendeing.com, which is a lifestyle website. And Trending, what we do that is unique from other websites is that we only produce content that will help you live a more positive lifestyle.
Isn't that cool?
And so what that looks like is we cover a lot of different topics. We cover fashion, entertainment, food, health and wellness. We also cover inspiring people in the community. And we cover those different topics because we feel like those are areas that many times are used to not empower people.
Right.
For instance, in fashion, a lot of times it's about comparing yourselves to another person. In food, it's about, well, let me just get skinnier, and I just want to eat what I can eat to look a certain way. And so we're really just trying to have a different perspective on those things. So for us, for instance, fashion for us is not about fashion rules. It's about fashion as self-expression. So, wear what makes you feel amazing, and maybe that differs from day to day. And just taking yourself out of those boxes that people have put you in, or maybe you've put yourself in. And the same thing with food. We believe food is something that should bring you so much joy, and it should just be so fun and something that empowers you to live well and your body to work well. And when we talk about wellness and health, it's all about body positivity and, just learning to love ourselves, because again, that's something that just really hasn't been out there for a long time, and a lot of people really are catching on to that now, and there are a lot of companies that are really trying to change that perspective of, having a negative view of yourself compared to an empowering view of yourself. And so that's what we're all about.
I love. So you're not going to put up something that's like 50 ways to get your abs flat in a week.
Exactly. That is exactly right. We're not going to do that.
My abs will never be flat, no matter how many exercises I do. It's just not going to happen.
We might say something like 50 ways to make your abs stronger.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I love that.
Just like changing the language changes it from something that's like, okay, oh my gosh, I need to have flat abs, to, oh, I want my body to be strong. You know, it's just like those little things.
I love that. I love that.
That's what we do.
Well, okay, let's see. Let me ask you one very serious question.
Okay.
If you could define your life in a song, what song would it be? And will you sing it for us?
Oh gosh, I have to sing it?
No, that was just a joke.
Oh, gracious. Okay. Well, I actually did think about that.
Okay.
And I was like, well, at first, I mean, I do believe in something that happened about 2 to 3 years ago. So I want to take myself out of all these different boxes that I've put myself in and that culture puts me in. And, you know, we all have those things. And so one of those boxes that I wanted to take myself out of was just defining myself in just 1 or 2 things. So saying that, there's probably a lot of films and songs and everything that could be a picture of my life. But one song that I really like is Climb Every Mountain from Sound of Music.
Oh, that's a good song.
Yes, Julie's going to sing it. And, you know, I just love that song. It's very representative of how I feel about life, which is the lyrics say, climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream. And it says, a dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life for as long as you live. And my dream is just to impact this world for good and to help people see themselves, you know, as the beautiful and amazing people they are, that we are. And so I want to do whatever it takes to make that happen. And, you know, climb over any obstacle or break down those barriers.
You're doing it. You're doing it. Do you guys see why I love her? Why I can't, like, I can talk to her for like hours? My gosh, you're amazing. So tell us about growing up and who was your biggest influence when you were growing up?
Well, so this is a very interesting question, actually, because growing up, I actually grew up in a very dysfunctional home. And my parents, you know, they had a very dysfunctional marriage for all of their life together. They're now divorced, which has actually been a really good thing for them. It's made so much freedom in their lives. And just because of growing up in that type of house, I actually didn't have very many outside influences that I could look to. And so I would say when I was younger, the influences that were the most positive would have been my grandparents, just because they were always a place where I felt stable and like safe. But I have to say, you know, now my greatest influences really are my friends, my close friends. They're just the most amazing people I know, and you know who you are. And
shout out. This is like a secret shout out to all the good friends.
And but that's just, you know, that's such an interesting question too, because growing up, part of my story is that my parents and how I grew up was very much just afraid of any type of influence. And that's the teachings my parents were under and what they were learning. And so they were teaching us that, you know, you just have to be careful of everyone and everything, which sort of prevented me from really opening up to those influences that could have been really positive. But I do have to say there weren't very many of those influences around anyway because of how we grew up. But
that's amazing.
Because I do believe in, you know, we can change our own worlds. That now, you know, I love being able to be open to being influenced by other people who are just doing so many beautiful things in the world.
Have you found like the richness and the depth in that? Like, is it like a whole new world?
It's beautiful. I have to, and I tell my husband this all the time, that like, especially the last couple years, like, my friend group has, oh my gosh, I'm just so thankful for them. It's like the most amazing and enriching thing that I've ever experienced. It's so beautiful.
Well, and then sometimes, I think we talked about a little too, like in Damien's life, you know, a lot of the choices that made him make good choices were because he saw the bad choices made. And he was like, I'm not going down that road. You know, and it's like, for him, like, that was even like a positive force in his life too, because it made him different.
That's exactly what happened to me. So even from when I was little, I even remember thinking that, I would see these things that my parents would do, or just the way we'd be interacting that just wasn't positive at all, and especially for kids. And I just remember thinking, I don't want to do that. And, just taking note of that. And I can't tell you how that has helped me in my relationships, like my relationship with my husband, just seeing the things that you shouldn't do, but then instead of just saying, oh, that's not what you should do, taking that and learning from it.
Wow.
And I think that's also just something I'm really big on, is that, you don't have to make the mistake yourself to learn from it. You can learn from someone else's mistake.
That's so good.
I mean, you really can. It's like, you don't have to do it yourself to learn from it.
You don't have to learn the hard way.
You don't have to.
That's not the smart way.
Well, it's just, and some people really feel like you do have to learn it yourself. It's like, you don't have to.
Yes.
You don't have to.
That's what we're always telling our kids. Like, learn it the easy way by like watching someone else.
Yeah, you really can learn so much.
Well, okay, so here's one interesting thing is, like, a lot of times we see things in the world that are not right, and we know that they're not right, but like today I was thinking, like, how many of my friends have cancer, and I was like, that's not right, that all these people have cancer, and there's got to be something. But I'm not going out and getting a degree so I can research cancer things, and it's like sometimes we can think something's wrong and not do the thing that needs to be done to fix it, And what I love about Hannah, you guys, is she's seen something that's not right, and she became a woman of action. She took action to say, like, this isn't right, this needs to be fixed. And so tell us, I want to know the story of how it happened. The things that were, I wrote it down. Hold on, let me read what I wrote down. What experiences or events inspired you to become a woman of action in the field of media, and what caused you to believe so boldly that you, like little you, like we think like we're so tiny, could change something? What was it that happened that made you just go like, wow, I think I could change this?
Well, when I first wanted to be a part of media, I actually wanted to be an actress. And that goes back into my background where I'm a musician, and before I got into film, I was interested in going to a music conservatory, and I'm also a dancer. So my mom, in another life, you could almost say, before she was married and had any kids, was a professional ballet dancer.
Oh, wow.
And from when I was little, I just loved that. And I still love dancing. Like, it's one of my things, like, I love to do whenever I can. And
we'll have you come over and you can do like a special dance for us. Do you guys think she should do a dance? Maybe not. Maybe not right now. We'll do our own version of the Nutcracker.
Yes. But so I actually started getting into film as film composition, like composing for film, and I was interested in that and started researching that. And then, from when I was little, I was like, oh, it'd be so fun to be an actress. And when I was young, I think I just wanted to do it for the performing side of it, and like, oh, that'd be fun, and you get to be famous and get to be a star. I think the reasons why a lot of people, unfortunately, go into acting, because they're not good reasons, honestly. Those weren't good reasons I had. But what it did, the older I got, the more I realized just the impact that these stories have on people. And I was really interested in film at the time. I wasn't as into television and other forms of media, since other forms of media weren't even really popular yet. Because, I'm not that old, but I'm old enough that, I listened to cassette players and I used VHS tapes,
No 8-tracks, though. No 8-tracks, no CD radios. We're not that old.
Didn't grow up like with a cell phone till a little later. Before, like, everyone has a piece of media in their hand all the time, which is great, honestly. It's not a negative thing, I don't think, but we'll get to that later. But so I don't remember what I was saying now.
Oh no, my phone's running out of battery. Hold on. It's okay. I have a charger on here. So you were telling about how you wanted to be a dancer and getting into the film composing.
So as I grew older, I was really interested in how film specifically and how those stories just really made an impact on people. Okay. And I realized that it was just so much more than entertainment. And also the other thing that I realized as well was that, I'd love to be in that industry and do it well, because throughout my life was like whatever I did, I was like, I want to do it excellently, and I wanted to do it really well. And I watched certain films and be like, you know, oh, the acting wasn't good or whatever, and be honestly very critical, which also wasn't, you know, a positive thing either. But it's what drove me into wanting to do well. And so I started pursuing acting, and I auditioned for this part in a feature-length indie film with like an experienced crew and everything. They had made films before and had them distributed, so it was a good project. And the director really wanted me to play the lead part of the girl in the film. And so I was really interested, really excited, and I was like, oh, this would just be so great, you know? And I got the script, and the script was very good, but there were parts in it that I just felt like, you know, could be better, right? And so, you know, I emailed the director and everything, and we're talking, and it was after he emailed me back, I thought about emailing back and, you know, like trying to push for these little changes that I was thinking of, but I realized, it was like in that moment I realized that I could not influence the change that I wanted as an actress. And that's just true. You don't have quality control over productions unless you, even as an A-list actor, unless you are a producer or director or whoever, you do not have quality control over that film. It doesn't matter who you are. And I realized that, and I was like, wow, you know, if my goal in media really is to produce good content, then I need to do that from behind the scenes. Wow. I can't be doing that as an actress, at least not to start out with.
That's good.
And I started then just pursuing production. I got a camera, I taught myself how to edit, and along the way learned great tips from wonderful editors. And so, I mean, I am a professional editor now, and I got an internship at a TV station and later became a director, producer, and editor there. And that's what really started my journey in media. Yes. Now, as far as affecting change, I really believe that happened just from seeing how I had the power to change things in my own life. And again, that happened through my childhood growing up and being in a dysfunctional home and realizing early on that I didn't have to be that way. Wow. And that I could be different and I get to choose who I want to be. And, you know, there's so much power in learning how much power you actually have. And
that is good, you guys.
Yeah. I mean, there really is, like, I mean, when you realize the power you have over yourself, it's just amazing, you know, what you can do and what you believe you can do. And but I have to say, like, affecting change, even now, like, I've started this company, right? But it wouldn't be where it is without my team members. And I have 11 other people who work with me. 10 of them who work with me on a very regular basis. And I really believe that, you know, it takes one person to maybe start that change. Yes. But, like, you have to have other people with you. Yeah, you know? Yeah, totally. And it takes more than just you to make it happen. And in media, honestly, it's amazing because people want this change. And there's more and more research coming out about how people, it's not telling them to look at themselves badly or, you know, giving these stories that are so unrealistic and are like fairy tales. Like, people want things that they can relate to, but people want things also that empower them to be a better them and not have to be someone else. And, you know, I'm one of those people. And so I'm just gathering those people together and helping create this community where we can all be together and want that together.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then, so here's one of the quotes that is, so we have so many things to talk about, but like I said, I'm trying to keep this short because, you know, we can keep going. But one of the things that you said to me that really impacted me, I would love for you to just unpack this a little bit for our viewers, because it changed the way that I watch TV. It changed the way that I listen to things, and it changed the way that I talk to my kids about what they saw. And it's this concept that you said, that Did you say no media is neutral? Is that how you said it? Or every media has a message?
Yeah, I said all media is propaganda.
Yeah.
Which is a little more extreme. But, and propaganda, you know, that word has more of a negative connotation. But the reality is propaganda just means that there is an intention behind the message.
Yeah.
And this goes back into really how media is created. And it goes back to more of the theory of it. And my background is in film and media studies. And so, like, I love studying. This stuff is just so fun.
I know.
And I want to continue studying this. I would like my PhD in this field.
Yes.
Eventually. But
you can do it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yes. But it just comes back to actually how media is created. Like, I was thinking today, like, it's even down to, like, when you pull out your phone, you look at Facebook, the colors on Facebook, the way everything is formatted, the size of the font, the everything has intention behind it. Every single thing.
Interesting.
And
we think it's just a random choice sometimes, like, oh, why are they showing this perfume commercial or this, you know, whatever commercial or whatever, you know.
Exactly.
And, like,
but everything is made with intention. And so, for instance, my media has intention behind it. You know, we're not just putting it out there for a certain, you know, just for people to think what they want. I want all of our media to help people feel empowered.
Yes.
And that goes down to the images we use, the format of our website, our user experience.
Wow.
And that is just how media is created, because visuals and words and even the way we see things move and we can interact with our screens affects how we feel.
Wow.
And affects what we think. And so if you can imagine, you know, if Facebook had a terrible user experience, then when you go on Facebook, you wouldn't enjoy going on Facebook.
Yes.
You know, you'd be like,
let me get off
I
here.
don't want to be on here. Exactly. But because it's so easy to use and it's so enjoyable and it doesn't make you feel that way, you could be on there all day.
Yeah, that is true. Which is what they want.
Exactly. So that is the intention. They want
Yes.
people, they want their users to use that product as much as possible.
Yes.
To use that app as much as possible. And so I was even thinking about this more tangibly, because there is media that, like, for some people it's just really random. So let's take YouTube videos, for example.
Okay.
But let's say someone videotapes someone falling, right? And it's funny. So they put it on YouTube. So the intention behind that is that those people want other people to laugh. They want other people to think it's funny.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it is just funny, and that's great, and we can laugh.
Yeah.
But sometimes maybe they're making fun of someone or whatever it is. And that's when we can sort of be more aware.
Yeah.
And we can look at that video and maybe, you know, evaluate a little bit. Well, is this really funny? Or, you know, am I really making fun of someone in this?
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing, because, you know, we can't change the intention of media. We just don't all have that power to be changing that with all these different media houses and places that produce media. But what we can do is be aware.
So how would you, I was just thinking that, like,
Yeah.
once you know this information about, like, it's all consumed with intent, how can you change your consumption of media or what can you do to kind of surround yourself with media that is more intentional about the values that do you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and
I
how
do.
can you communicate that to your kids? That's
Yeah, well, something that I think is a great concept to think about is not letting things just happen to you. And because when people produce media that does have intention, and all media has intention behind it, and then you consume it, if you consume it without being aware that there is a certain message that, you know, is happening there, then guess what? That media is just happening to you, and you're just letting it affect you.
You're
however,
just buying in like 100%.
You're just letting it affect you, you know, and you might think, oh, it was just entertainment, it doesn't matter. But images, dialogue, music, everything, editing, it all affects you.
Wow.
It all affects the way you feel, how you perceive something, and it's very psychological. It's not just something that passes you by.
I was going to ask you, like, how do you feel like is some of the main ways that psychological aspect impacts people who are consuming media?
Well, I think a good fact is the average adult consumes over 13 hours of media a day.
Oh.
And that is including sleeping time. So I did the calculations, And well, just think about it. If you look at a magazine, if there's a billboard, if you're on your phone, if the TV's on, if you get 7 hours of sleep on average a night, that leaves you 17 hours in the day.
Oh, wow.
And then 13 of those hours are spent consuming
oh my
some type
gosh,
of media.
no. I thought you maybe we were consuming it in our sleep too, and I was like, how are we doing that? I don't know.
Not in our sleep. But that means there's only like 4 hours a day where most people are not like seeing something or being bombarded with something. So it becomes really important to be intentional about what we're consuming. And now, I'm not one of those people who thinks media is bad or technology is bad. Like, I mean, there are a lot of people who are like, oh my gosh, just turn them all off, take cell phones away, let's just not have it. Yeah. But because I think media is so powerful, it actually can powerfully affect us for good. And so there are a lot of ways we can use media and technology to impact us positively. And I mean, I think one of those ways just really is being intentional about what you're watching, being intentional about how much time you're spending on your phone. You know, like on Facebook, for instance, again, I'm using Facebook, but it's just really easy to scroll through, right? And just read one thing after another. And, you know, a great thing you can do to just help yourself instead of letting that media, again, just happen to you and just, you know, trickle all over you. Just be really intentional about, oh, do I want to read this post? Do I want to read this article? You know, am I setting my time aside to do this intentionally? That's good. And sometimes it's just about being intentional with, yes, I do want to read this, so I'm going to spend my time and do that. Yeah. But again, coming back to you making the decision to do it and not letting it make the decision for you just because you're scrolling.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. You know what? I think that we're going to have to do a part 2 because we've got so many other interesting questions. It's already been 30 minutes, but
oh my gosh.
I know, it's going to go by so fast. But, you know, seriously, I want to do a part 2 because this is such an invaluable conversation to have. And really, like, you know, that concept right there, it gave me so much to talk to my kids about, you know, like, okay, you guys, because, you know, Libby was like, oh, this toy does this and this toy does that, and if we do this, we'll feel this and that. And I'm like, that's a commercial. It's designed to make you want it. Yes. It's not that amazing. Seriously, we bought the Wubble ball like 3 times. And they always say on the commercial, oh, they're guaranteed not to pop, and they're this and the other. Okay, so if it pops, we'll replace it. All 3 of ours have popped. And we try to replace them, and then it's so hard. Like, you have to do so much stuff through the mail that we never got a replacement. And so now she's like, but it's guaranteed, it won't pop. I'm like, no, we're not getting one. So I seriously want to. Do you have anything? Let me.
Yes, go ahead.
I know we need to wrap up, but I'm seriously going to do a part 2 because there's like so much more content. But I want to ask you real quick before we go on this one. If you could look at yourself 5 to 10 years ago and all the things you were going through, your stresses, your fears, I just want to walk away today with this. What would you say to yourself? Because some of those people that are watching this, they're in the same place that you were. Maybe they're thinking about doing a startup, or they're like seeing something that's not right that they want to fix, or they're like just trying to figure out what to do. What would you say to that person?
Well, I would say believe it can happen. And I think that's really important because, you know, if we don't believe that we can do it, then who else is going to do it? You know, there's no one who's better than you, or, you know, everyone's equal. We're all on an equal playing field, and it's true that life is unfair and some people have more opportunities than others. That is just absolutely true. But, you know, everyone can do it. Like, everyone has the same, there's no one who's better than the next person, you know. It's not a thing. So if you believe it can happen and it's important to you, then believe that you can do it. And the other thing I would say that's more tangibly, that's, you know, the mental side of it, but the tangible side is take those opportunities that come to you that will help you get there. Okay. And sometimes they're not, you know, these huge things that happen, but it might be something small. It might be just like meeting a person who, you know, inspires you and encourages you that, oh, you can do it. Yes. Or maybe it's just learning this new piece, you know, about the project that you want to complete, or whatever it is. Yeah. Maybe it's going to school and finding a class that you really like.
Yeah.
And, you know, just take those little pieces and believe that if you keep taking those little pieces, it'll lead to bigger pieces.
I love it. A little bit at a time.
Yeah.
That's so good.
It doesn't all have to happen at once.
Because don't we feel like that sometimes?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I have to do this in one time. But it's like
Yeah.
that person took... That's such good advice. All right, well, we are going to wrap up, you guys. I am seriously going to ask Hannah right now if we can record a part 2. We'll show it to you on another day because there's so much more we did not get to talk about, but some crazy stuff like why being positive doesn't always mean being happy, some other stuff that's amazing. Let's see. Shirley said, I'm so proud of you, dear Hannah. I'm writing down the word intentional.
Oh, yay!
That's so good. Yes, we have to be intentional.
Intentional. Yeah, it's one of my favorite words.
I love that too. So, okay, we're going to check out right now, but we need a part 2. I cannot wrap this up, you guys.
We'll do part 2.
Yes. May your minds be fierce and your hearts be strong and your spirits be very kind today. We love you. Thanks for tuning in. Bye. Oh, okay.